Hey guys, it's Alex, and today I want to talk to you about a debate that a lot of you have with yourself about a person in your life, and you're trying to decide, okay, does this person have a mental illness and that's what's causing them to be this way? Or are they actually evil because their behaviors have been so hurtful to you to the degree in which it has reached an extreme and you're looking and searching for a cause of this behavior? Because a lot of times when we're victims of abuse, what happens is you want there to be a reason, and you'll even look at yourself as potentially that reason. Most often when you're dealing with someone and you're questioning if they have a mental illness or they're evil, it's probably not you. It's something within them that is causing this behavior that they have. So in line with that question you ask yourself, I'm going to give you a little bit of my opinion on how you can not worry about that so much and think about your issue at hand, which is the abuse you've been enduring and how to get away from this person. And if you're away from this person, how to not engage with another person that displays the kinds of behaviors that end up hurting you. So when we look at narcissism, that is one of the personality disorders that people tend to encounter, personality types that are narcissistic. And when you've been involved with these people in any kind of a personal way and they start kind of attacking you, you want to know, is this person truly a narcissist? And if so, what is causing them to do this? Are they evil? Or is there something wrong with them? I think what we have to stop doing, what all victims have to stop doing, is medicalizing mean people. You give someone an excuse the minute you classify them as having a mental disorder, which is something that has to be diagnosed with a doctor. So if you are just someone who is in somebody's life and you are unfortunate enough to be experiencing a pattern of behavioral sets, the word you're going to use to talk about that pattern could be narcissistic, it could be histrionic personality disorder, but these are just words. They're also just diagnoses in a book. So you have to separate that. You're not the doctor. So if you are suffering from that pattern of this person is totally selfish, they have no empathy, they try and take over and control every conversation. They try to make every single occurrence that's going on in the situation flip back to be your fault. Or if it's even something positive you did, they want to take credit for it. So if you're noticing that behavioral pattern, there is nothing wrong with saying that person is displaying all kinds of signs of narcissism. They're acting narcissistic, because that's just a word in the dictionary that we have that just describes that set of behavior that people have when you've been in a relationship with them or in a personal situation with them and you're noticing those patterns and you're searching for a word in your mind to give them. You can call them narcissistic. But don't cross that line in your own mind and start thinking, well, they have this diagnosis and therefore it's not within their control to treat you like complete crap. No. Don't give them that benefit of the doubt, because quite often you will find that narcissistic people know exactly what they're doing. They just cannot change who they are. They'll even have moments of self-loathing. They don't have high self-esteem, though if you just looked at them, you might wonder why they wouldn't, but they really don't. That's why there's always so much focus on the outside and what other people think in different situations. Whereas with you, you might just be trying to live a happy, healthy life. You don't really care what other people think. It's more about treatment and how you treat other people for you. With narcissistic people, it's never about you. It's about them. And so they do have a self-awareness sometimes when it comes to their own shortcomings, and they will never ever admit that to you. Often, these are the last people that actually go to the therapist. They might not admit that to anyone, even therapists. It can take months to figure out if they're talking to a narcissistic person as they put the story together. In a way that a therapist gets to know if this person actually has this disorder is going to be referring to the diagnostic manual, but also listening to that story. If all the key players in the person's story in your life that you feel is being narcissistic to you, if their story always involves other people being the ones at fault, it's never them. Odds are the complete opposite is true. In my opinion, they tend to be the ones that are always in the wrong for their treatment of other people. So the one thing we want to really focus on here is not the question of, for you trying to figure out how to get away from this person and what you need to do to protect yourself from abuse. Forget about figuring out if it's evil or mental illness. Neither of those are your job. You could consider whether they're evil or not somebody else's job, a higher above belief that you have. And in terms of mental illness, that's going to be a doctor's job that is specifically seeing that person as their patient. You cannot be the one to diagnose them. So don't get your own self confused. When you know that somebody has no empathy, they are unbelievably rageful and overly emotional in situations where it makes no sense for them to get that way, you are probably dealing with a narcissistic person. You're on the abuse end of that, so of course you're going to be the most likely to be able to identify that. It doesn't require you to go ahead and make a medical diagnosis. It also doesn't require you to make any excuses for them. They may not be able to help it, but bottom line is, it's not your problem. Your only problem will always and forever be taking care of you. That's the only problem in this world you will ever have is you. And you are also, coincidentally, the solution, because that person's never going to change. And you're never going to change them. And the only person that can change them is themselves, just like the only person that can change you is you. And so it is your job to take care of yourself, be your own solution to this problem you're enduring, which is them in your life. So if you are the subject of abuse, it doesn't matter if they've been diagnosed. It doesn't matter if they're evil. It can be awful, the thought that either of these things are occurring. And it's also a hard thought to believe maybe they don't have anything wrong with them cognitively. They're just mean. Any of those things could be going on with a person that you have identified as narcissistic. And I'm telling you, none of them matter to you, not at the end of the day, because what matters to you should just be you in getting out of these abusive relationships that tend to fall on sensitive people that are full of empathy, people that have kindness in their heart and actually consider treating others the way they'd like to be treated. So I know the question is rumbling around in almost every victim's head. Is this evil? Is this a mental illness? What is going on here? The point of the matter is, let that go. If you are being abused, it is okay to say to yourself and out loud, this person is acting narcissistic. I'm not going to give them the excuse of having a mental illness that I cannot diagnose. I simply need to recognize a spade as a spade and begin to do things to create space between you and that person. You have to begin to do that. You can do that in a number of ways. The first step to that is to start reducing that communication and little by little minimizing it to nothing. Now, there are different situations you could be in. I know it's a lot easier said than done. If you want to leave a comment below about your specific situation or send an email to alex@cdmthinktank.com, I'd be happy to walk through whatever you're going through with you in a little more detail on how you can separate yourself from that person. But bottom line is, evil, mental illness, are they diagnosable as this and that? Doesn't matter. you are in an abusive situation and you need to get out. If you are even questioning where the source of their erratic behavior is coming from. I hope you guys found that helpful. I hope you have happy and healthy conversations. And until next time, take care.